Hello friend, welcome back to Toyota Maintenance YouTube channel. Welcome back to my shop. Here you are looking at 2001 Toyota Tacoma Pre Runner and it needs a front brake job. If you are interested to see how I do that, stay with me in this video. And not only that, I give you some extra. The extra will be, you can finally test this Milwaukee light, which I did unboxing, months ago, something like that, right? So it has 3 levels. This is the main light, and I will use it one down and the other down. So it's the lowest setting, and let's see how this will work for us. Now, when you are buying the brake pads for this, you have to be facing the question if it's 5 lug or 6 lug. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we have the 6 lug right here. And you know I always love to use Toyota parts in the videos for my customers, but not today. These were approximately 50 bucks. They are full ceramic with the complete warranty, right? Toyota wanted today almost triple price. So I was like, no, it was double 0.5, something like that. So unfortunately, today we will go with the aftermarket, but super high quality ceramic brake pads. So we will start removing the parts, right? So you start with this securing special pin, and that needs to be pushed in here and pull this way out, right? After that, this wire can be disconnected from the sliding pins, right? Be careful, you don't want to break this, right? And this is how it looks like. The next step will be push out both of these pins, right? So you can start with whichever you want. Helping myself pushing on this. Hopefully, right, it's going. Sometimes it's full of rust and so on, so you have to help yourself other way. I will use a small punch here and help myself carefully, right, drive it out. That should be enough, right? This will need a lot of cleaning, right? Now this part releases pressure on this one. Let's see how much stuck is this one there. Okay, the top needs it too, no worries. Come baby out. See, it's stuck and that spring fell down. So now we can finally start pulling the brake pads out, right? You can help yourself with the pliers or whatever you want to use. You can grab it this way, and we will be able to evaluate and see why this person was recommended to replace them. This one looks super thick, right? Hopefully the other one will be very thin, or it might be on the other side. But this is like a 5mm pad. The same will be with this one. As you can see, there's a lot of dust and dirt, so they don't want to really go easily. But that's normal, sometimes this happens. Sometimes if you have this situation where it's helpful to use the big channel locks, right, the big pliers, and basically relieve the pressure from that brake piston on this side, right? And that will help. Oh yeah, do you see how immediately it's becoming loose? Now I can use the pliers to pull it out. Or it might even go with the hand if I wiggle it enough. Alright, here we go. So that was also aftermarket brake pads, and this one seems to be still like a 3mm. Let me show you the close look on that whole project, trying to avoid that light, right? But this is what we've got so far. So now I have to remove 2 bolts on the back. Right here is the bottom and one on top, to be able to remove that entire caliper, remove the brake rotor, measure the minimum thickness if I will be able to resurface it on my brake light. So I put a socket there so you can see where they are located. These 2 bolts, right? One and second one. These are always very tight, so I recommend you to use some big tools, right? I'm using half drive for undoing those. Let's see, not so bad. So that was the bottom. You also can see, hopefully, the detail. I have a ready hanger here for that entire caliper, right? Do you see that right here? Yep. Because this is super heavy, there's no way you will hang it on this brake line. You can completely break it, right? So this is really important. I will be hanging it, all that weight on that. Okay, so that lower bolt is coming out. I have the top one already done. And you have to be ready for this caliper, it's heavy, right? So don't drop it on that line. And because I have that hook, oh yeah, that's heavy. I have that hanger ready nicely. So we have that caliper hanging nicely, safely. Now I need to remove this rotor, right? And start measuring it, and hopefully I can turn it nicely on my brake light. Cover your ears right now. I will carefully try to separate it from this hub, right? Carefully, because I would like to reuse it, so I don't want to damage it. But it's coming off. Slowly, slowly. It's always rusted here. And it will eventually give up, and I'm able to remove that baby from that hub. Now this rotor looks on the thin side, so before I will even measure it, I wanna see the other one, right? So I start removing it here, and definitely these brake pads shouldn't be the reason for this job. This one, the outer, it's like almost 4 millimeter, and the inner it's like 6 millimeters. So I wonder why this customer was told that this needs to be done ASAP. Here will be a detail of both rotors, passenger side, driver side, and how these pads were thin, right? Let's go and measure the rotors. Everybody knows the minimum thickness of those rotors out of the head. Come on, help me. I don't want to go and look for it. Both 2-wheel drive and 4-wheel drive rotors supposed to be 22 millimeters standard thickness, and a minimum allowed is 20. So I'm zeroing my baby here. This one has 21, right? There's no lip on it, but this one has 21.76. Even if there was miniature lip, but there's none. This one has 21.58. So I'm definitely within spec to resurface those. In order to put it on the brake plate, you can see a lot of rust buildup, right? That has to be eliminated. So first, I need to perfectly clean it. These coarse wheels are the best for cleaning that rust off. I can't find that adapter. I'm afraid somebody was here last night messing up my stuff or something. That little shaft, it's not here. So I will use the wire brush. Excuse me for that, everybody. That's working also very nice. So, how yeah, look at it cleaning. Now I have it nicely cleaned inside out, right? All areas. Let's put it on the brake light. Here you can see it done on the slowest setting, right? I always try to take at least as possible of the material. This is for my friend. So the setting here is the lowest, but I don't care. I made a time for it to make it perfect. If you have any questions about this brake light, I did a two-part video on it on this channel, so you can see how it's being used and operated. If you look in detail on this hub, it's full of rust also, right? Obviously the rotor was stuck to it. Right now we can see why. So this has to be cleaned as much as possible, all these areas also, before bringing the new rotor, resurface rotor. There's really a lot of rust on this one, so you definitely need some time for cleaning these things, that's for sure. So that hub cleaned up pretty good. So my next focus is actually on pushing the pistons back into the caliper, and then I have to start cleaning this area. Before you will push the pistons in, check your brake fluid in your brake fluid reservoir if it's not too much there, because you will be pushing it back and it could overflow and make all that mess. This is what I mean. If you look at it, somebody topped it, right? While the pistons were moving towards to the rotors and it was going down here, so somebody topped it. It's direct on the max. So I have to open it and evacuate some of it, remove it, maybe to the min. When I start pushing these in, it doesn't overflow here, right? And it keeps dripping all over the body. I use this syringe, which is made for brake fluid actually, right? Put it to the minimum so I can continue my brake job. Here you can see my special piston spreading tool, which makes it super easy. You pay attention how much effort, right, it takes. In the case one of these pistons will be seized or partially seized, right? It all can happen. So it's nicely hanging, right? And I'm slowly paying attention to the detail. I'm pushing those pistons back. After that, I will be able to start cleaning and preparing this caliper for the new brake pads. If you don't have that special tool, the big channel lock pliers could help you, right? Let me see if the pistons are good, right? Not sticky. You should be able to see, carefully push it in. Do you see that? With very little effort, because they are okay. Look at it. Excuse me. You just don't want to damage anything, right? But you can use that. It will work too. Now finally that cleaning, right? These pads are traveling on these surfaces, so I have garbage can underneath it. I start scraping this off, cleaning it, right? Make sure you don't breathe it in, right? This is from brakes, which is dangerous to the human health. So if it's too much, you better wear some respirator than get it inside of your lungs. But hopefully you can see the improvement. So both sides here and here needs to be cleaned. While I'm waiting for the rotor to be done, I will start repairing this area. This was all stuck and rusted, right? I had to hit it with the heavy hammer. So I want to prevent that. So I'm using this anti-seize and very little coat of it goes in the trouble area, and that will prevent that from happening. I'm also one of those believers who puts the anti-seize on the threads. Somebody will tell you it's a mistake because it changes the lug nut torque when I'm torquing it. I never had problem with it, and I will not have a problem with it. What I know, this owner will never have problem with removing the lug nuts because they cannot rust on the studs, right? And this little thin layer will 100% prevent it, and the lug nuts won't fall off. I know that for sure. Here I have a finished rotor, right? Perfectly resurfaced. So let's see what is remaining on it. So we have a 20 when I really squeeze it. This is it. 21.04. So basically, right? The numbers were 22 and 20. So we are right between these two numbers. So we are middle of the life of this rotor. The new resurfaced rotor is in the place, so I can also start putting back this entire caliper, right? It's all clean. So back goes those 17mm bolts, and these two bolts on the back, they need to be really tight. I believe the spec is 70 Newton meters, right? So now you can see this area is finally ready for the new brake pads. And these ceramic pads came nicely with that anti-squeaking padding on the back, so I don't have to be transferring it from here, right? So that's great. But what I definitely have to do is lube them, right? So I will use this synthetic grease, which you know from different videos. I keep using it all over again. And you apply very thin layer to this edge. Here and here on both sides. And that's it. So here we go. I have it ready, right? And I will slide it carefully in the caliper approximately in this position, both of sides, right? Look how nice and easy it goes after we did all that cleaning. I didn't forget to clean these pins, and I somehow also cleaned this anti-rattle spring. So I will just align this. See that? Put the spring underneath it. This one also needs to go a little bit more inside. And I'm going all the way through that. Now I will continue with the bottom one. Alright? So, same thing. And hopefully it will guide itself all the way in. The next thing is putting this securing wire, right? So I have to enter it in the pins correctly all the way and lock it here like that. And look at this, voila, my friend. If I clean off this grease, I don't like it here. Basically, this side is perfectly finished. I will perform the same on the other side, right? For somebody who's new to this, you always do both sides. You will have to torque the lug nuts, right? To correct torque. What is it? It's 110. So let's see where that brake fluid level is. Oh, it's almost touching max. So it definitely came up, right? But the level will actually go down a little bit again, right? Why? Because now I need to hop in the vehicle and pump the brakes, right? Until the brake pedal will become hard. Now this is when you can end up in trouble. You will hop in the car after the brake job is down, start it up, put it in reverse, right, and start backing out. Now look what will happen with the brake pedal. It's too dark, but trust me, look, so I will step on it first, to the floor, second, to the floor, third, to the floor, fourth, getting harder, fifth, hard. If somebody did that, which happened in the past, my friend from the shop, right, he said that was the worst he ever did. He was in a hurry again, put in reverse, start backing, hop on the brakes, nothing, start pumping, but bang, he hit the wall. So be careful with that, right, really important safety feature. So now the brake pedal is completely hard, these pistons came back to the brake pads. Let's go and look together where that brake fluid level is. And if it dropped, I will put some back to the max level, right? So I went ahead and filled it up all the way to the max. That's how it's supposed to be, right? And now you think, oh, I'm finally done, right? Besides just cleaning all this mess everywhere, I'm ready to give it to the owner, right? Well, not so fast. Now think about it, right? We installed like a new rotors, resurfaced rotors, and we have brand new brake pads. There is something what still needs to be done on the test drive, and that's brake-in procedure, right? You cannot just go and start racing it. The surfaces will get damaged and they will not see it properly. So there needs to be done that, and I will show it in different video. I hope you find this video helpful, maybe encouraging doing it by yourself. If you do, please be safe and observe all the precautions. Thanks for watching and be subscribed. I have way more coming your way soon. See ya, my friend.